to this day. The diligent work ethic exhibited by everyone who played a part in the rise of Cashmere High School has finally paid off. As a student of Cashmere High, I have learned that sometimes you have to get dirty to get the job done. Sometimes it takes stepping out of your comfort zone to achieve your goals. Over the past year, I have literally witnessed administration and staff strap up, put on their battle gear, and come to school ready for war. However, they did this because they believed in us, the students. So with that being said, I would like for you all to sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy what Cashmere High has in store for you. Now please stand up and welcome Cashmere 2019-2020 faculty and staff. Okay. Now please continue standing and welcome the posting of the colors.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Now we would like for you guys to turn your attention to the video that we have all created. Thank you.
Good morning. It's been a long time coming. But a change has come to HISD, and a change has come to Kashmere High School. Principal Bush, AP Mosley, and the Kashmere staff, administrators, please join me on the stage. To my lovely cheerleaders, as a former varsity cheerleading coach, could you do the honors, please? Come on. Drum roll. Oh, we need a drum roll.
Drum roll.
Y'all know what to do. Okay. Okay, that's all right, drum roll. If the Kashmere High School staff would just turn around and show America what we are doing today, what our banner was gonna say. Hashtag Kashmere Out 2019.
Y'all don't have to.
So what a powerful video that our students here at Kashmere produced. You may be seated. They are creative, talented, and most importantly, as they pointed out, they are committed. And I agree with them. The principal of the school, Mr. Reginald Bush, who is standing here with me, is committed. Actually, he just sat down. The assistant principal, Ms. Chandra Harris Mosley, also here, she too is committed. Every single teaching staff on this campus are committed. Our administration, our entire community, and we're committed to ensure that every student at Cashmere succeeds. As mentioned very wisely in the video, it is not how you start the race, it is how you finish the race. And I actually want to point out that this race, is it coming? Is it coming? If you're not in the work, you're in the way. You're not in the work, but we are out. And I want to share with the community and everyone here that this work actually started in 2015. It started in 2015. I want to thank the original staff members that were here when we as a district started the investment in Cashmere High School. So I want to give credit to the previous administrators that were here. Principal Nancy Blackwell was here, and then Mr. Bush and his team came in last year to finish the work. So thank you to the original class of staff members. We're going to continue, but I would like to ask Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee to come up and bring us remarks, and then I will come back, okay?
I'm not even going to bring my glasses. The mighty, mighty Rams, the mighty, mighty Rams, the mighty, mighty Rams, the mighty, mighty Rams. The mighty, mighty Rams. Candy Eastman knows when we're in the church, we give a long lineage of how many people we're going to acknowledge. But I've got to acknowledge Reggie Bush, the principal of Cashmere, Dominic, Kenneth Williams, the Parents Association, Feeder Road, Feeder Pathway. To the dynamic faculty, I'm not going to call them teachers, they are faculty with strength. They love these students. And to all of those who've made this day, thank you, Mayor, for your presence. I know that you've been steadfast like a rock, making sure that your city is whole. We are grateful for his service. Give him a very big hand. To our giant general, that someone had the wrong-headedness of moving elsewhere, I'm glad she's staying. That is the greatest superintendent. Thank you, Superintendent Latham. And I'm so glad we have members of our board here. There's something about here that Cashmere is out, but it says if you're not working, you're in the way. These ladies are working, and that is the trustee Rhonda Scalern-Jones, trustee Jolanda Jones, trustee Wanda Adams, and we are so grateful, and thank you so very much for all of the board members that are here. They are working. My guru, Representative Allen, I see Johnson coming in, Senator Miles, President of the HCC, thank you, Dr. Shabazz, and all of those that are here. Let me just simply say this. As I acknowledge and pay homage to the greatest educators, Matilda Graves, Faye Bryant, Willie Mae Evans, they are the great leaders here. They taught me, maybe outside the classroom, but they taught me. Give them a big hand. So let me be very clear, and forgive me for my departure. I am happy to be here. I'm catching plane to the East Coast. We're dealing with guns. We're dealing with El Paso. We're dealing with America. But I wanted to deal with America right here in the mighty Rams. And let it be known, I know it's easy to concede, but less than a decade ago, we were in a library of a unimproved Cashmere, none of this beauty. And a superintendent, two superintendents back, was talking about closing Cashmere. And there were a band of parents and teachers and myself in the room, and we said over our dead body, the history of Conrad Johnson and all of the teachers and the spirits of all of these graduates. We refuse to cede to closing Cashmere. Now, HISD has got more than 99% of its schools out of IR. In the Democratic appropriations led by Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic caucus, we put more money in education than has ever been put in education in the history of the United States, money that can come to HISD. We are not without the resources to continue their work. And many of you are not aware because you bring your children here, parents, you teach here. But it should be known to the greater Houston community, to the TEA, and to the state. This school has over 70% Title I children. There are schools where children eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We take children and recognize that someday they could be president of the United States. But we have to pull them together. And we take children and we say that they are not throwaways. So I'm excited by watching the expanse of the growth, the beauty of the facilities, the cleanliness of the atmosphere for our children to learn. That is what this message should be this morning, that we are celebrating learning and celebrating our children's future. And so, on behalf of America, on behalf of the United States Congress that is invested in education, on behalf of an America that the world clamors to come to so that they can get a morsel of opportunity. There should be no child that we throw away, no school that we throw away, no school that we close, no board that we get rid of. We should come together in unity, build on what we have, and surge into the 21st century and show the world what Houston is made of. Houston strong. We came out after Hurricane Harvey when these children were displaced. Let's show who we are. We are Houston strong. Rams, you are mighty. Congratulations. There are no one that we will throw away. This is a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Today we are rewriting history in Houston ISD, one student, one teacher, one community at a time. Cashmere High School was on TEA's struggling list of schools for 8 consecutive years. But today it earned a passing grade with a C rating, a C. And 2 distinctions, and also 2 distinctions which gives them additional honors to be recognized at the state level. So they have officially been removed from the improvement required status. We never gave up on our students, and with the right support, we have changed the narrative. Congratulations again to Cashmere High School and the Cashmere community. You have inspired us all, and we're all very proud. Principal Bush, your leadership has reignited the academic flame on this historic campus. Under your leadership, Cashmere is on track to long-term and sustained academic greatness. He stated that next year he wants to be an A-rated school. From the moment he stepped on this campus last year, there was a renewed energy, optimism, and a sense of community on this campus. I want to thank all the teachers and staff of Cashmere High School. You're the engine that keeps this campus running. Your tireless and unwavering dedication to our children sets an inspiring example for all of us to follow. I'm also thrilled to announce that as a district, HISD earned a high B with an 88 score. Hashtag B-rated, hashtag 88, hashtag check out how we did compared to the other districts in the Houston area. I like it when we can change the narrative. Some might have a plan of sabotage and defeat HISD or Team HISD. We had a plan that we would continue to move forward as a district. And I want to say thank you to every team member, every community member, not only that sent me text messages, called me, prayed for me, prayed over me and with me and my family. I want to say thank you. Thank you, Dr. Miller. And Bishop Dixon is here somewhere. I want to thank those spiritual leaders. I want to thank the support system I have through my social organizations for supporting me and telling me you are more than what a vote says about you. You are more than. I'm going to get back to my points, but I have to tell a little story. On April the 7th, 1990, I entered into a sisterhood that I wouldn't realize until almost 30-something years later what sisterhood truly means. They told me on some dark nights that one day I would need people to stand in the gap for me. And I just want to say thank you to those ladies that represent the pink and green of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. You don't know the story, but I'm here to tell you. We give and give back to the community. We give to the community. And I encourage you to support us in September when we raise $1 million again for HBCUs. Got to put that plug in. President Story, we will do it again in our city. I'm excited because we should be celebrating today. So let's talk about what our report card looks like for HISD. 92% of our schools earned a passing grade on the state's accountability system. That's 250 out of 271 rated campuses. And this is the first year that we officially, all of our campuses received a rating. 29 campuses earned a D, and we will be moving them to C or higher next year. 86 campuses earned a C, 78 campuses earned a B, and 57 campuses earned an A. We are extremely proud of all of our teachers, principals, school support officers, and area superintendents for working diligently to help our students succeed. Our students demonstrated significant gains, and we're committed to empowering them to thrive academically. And we're not resting. We know we still have a lot of work to do. We still have to continue to close the gaps. And there's good news. There are more schools joining Cashmere High School that are shedding their IR label. That's Caldwell Elementary, Marshall Elementary, Howland Heights Elementary. I'm gonna say that again for the mayor, as one of the trustees say one more again. In the 4-4, Howland Heights Elementary School exited IR. Jarvis Johnson, do you hear me? Sherman Elementary School, Addicts Middle School. Wait for it, Patrick Henry Middle School. Another school that was targeted as a HB 1842 school, North Forest High School. Oh, there's Representative Thompson. All North Forest schools are IR free. All schools in North Forest. Wait for it, Mayor, you got one more. One more. And this principal, I pushed him, and I'm so proud of him today. That would be Dr. Phillips in Washington High School. They are no longer IR. At this time, I'd like for all HISD principals to stand. If you're here from an HISD school, principals, please stand and be recognized. These principals are doing the work. Under the A through F system, campuses must receive a grade of D or better in order to meet state accountability standards. Based on TEA's accountability systems, 21 campuses, though, that we have received an F rating for 18-19, so we still have work to do. However, out of those 21 campuses, 16 technically earned with a score of a D. They actually earned a D. So we're counting 15 true IR campuses in this district. So let me tell you what that means. It's called a forced failure. So go with me a little bit. If you're a baseball fan, I'm gonna try to do my best. So we're all watching the game. We're either over at Minute Maid Park or we're watching a game on TV. And we see that outstanding player slide into home plate. And we all say, he's safe, we won the game. And the umpire says what? Out. That's what they call the commissioner's rules. If you earn more than an F in a category, you automatically fail. So I want to make sure you understand, though, 6 of our campuses did earn a D. 6 of our campuses truly earned a D, but based on the commissioner's rules, they must be rated an F for 1920. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about Wheatley High School. Principal Williams, come on up here. Come on up here, Principal Williams. Trustee Skillen-Jones, please join me. Mayor Turner, please join me. Representative Harold Dutton, please join me here on stage. I want to first recognize Principal Williams. So Wheatley did earn a D. They're part of that forced failure group. But due to the commissioner's rules, they will be rated an F. But I want you all to know that we have a dedicated, caring, and inspiring leader who is a true advocate for children at Wheatley High School, and that's Mr. Williams. Wheatley High School is a critical fixture not only to the greater Fifth Ward community, but also to HISD. Civic leaders, elected officials, social influencers, and professional athletes once walked those halls and sat in the classrooms as our students. Wheatley High will rise to greatness once again, and here's how. Number one, as a district, as a community, we are standing beside Mr. Williams, behind Mr. Williams. We are going to the finish line with this man, this principal. We're going to the finish line. Last year, we told Mr. Bush when we were at Worthing, we would be at Cashmere today for our press conference. Next year, you can meet me on August the 15th at Wheatley. So I want to share with you, last year we added an additional $6.1 million to support Wheatley's efforts. We will continue to support Wheatley. We have already examined our data. We know what we need to do to help not only Mr. Principal and Mr. Williams and his team, but also our students to ensure they earn a C rating next year. So once again, Mr. Williams, I want to thank you for your continuous and your support. I want to thank you for your leadership. You are the right principal at the right time to lead the historic Wheatley High School. At this time, I'm going to actually, you all can kind of stay, because we can kind of go. I'm going to actually have Mayor Turner to speak. I'll have Trustee Skillen-Jones, Representative Dutton, and then we'll move to Mr. Bush to speak. But I think it's important that we stand with Wheatley High School, not only as we stood with Cashmere High School so many years ago. Thank you.
And let me say good morning to everyone. Come on, you can do better than that. Good Look, let me start off by acknowledging and thanking the superintendent for her hard work and dedication, and for all the things that she announced this morning, the achievements that have been made. Please give it up to your superintendent one more time. You can do better than that. Let me acknowledge also the board members who are here, and let me acknowledge the principal of Cashmere, Reginald Bush, and I'm gonna come back to him. And then the chairperson of HCC, Chairperson Shabazz, good to see her this morning. To Faye Bryan, Matilda Graves, Willie Mae Evans, educators in their own right on so many different levels. To the state representatives who are here, the Dean of the State House, Sophronia Thompson, to Representative Allen, to Representative Johnson. And then I want to highlight a particular person who started this program, a senior right here at Kashmir, Samaj Kajer. We were talking before the program started. We were talking before the program started, and she said to me that she was very nervous since she was going to have to start the program. She's so proud of being here at Kashmir. I said to her that every single program where I have to speak, you know, I get nervous myself. And she said, "You get nervous?" I said, "Look, I've done it a zillion times, but every single time I get a little nervous. The adrenaline starts to pump, but the moment you get up there, things start to subside." I want Samaj to know you did an exceptional job. Look, she represents the students at Kashmir who have been determined and have persevered. But you don't do that without quality leadership. And Superintendent, again, let me thank you for your leadership, but to the principal of this school, Reginald Bush, let me thank you for your tenacity, your perseverance, your leadership, your excellence. Please give it up to the Principal Reginald Bush. And I say that because, let me tell you, the reason that I am here, today is a big deal. Today is a big deal not just for this school, not just for the Kashmir Garden community, but for the city of Houston as a whole. When you have a school that has been in IR, improvement required, for 10, 11 years, consecutive years, and then all of a sudden you come out of IR. And not only do you just come out of it, you come out of it and I've never loved grade, identifying schools by grades. Let me just, a total disclaimer. When I was in the legislature, I didn't like labeling schools A, B, C, or D, F. I just don't like labeling schools on that level. But be it as it may, a school that was in IR, that's now characterized at a C. And not only that, has received 2 distinctions, which means that you have done better than 75% of other schools across this state in 2 areas, is a big deal. And I want to thank Reginald Bush and the faculty and the teachers for that. And I want to highlight the teachers here at Kashmir Garden. Because the reality is, if you can't teach them, they cannot learn. But I'm a firm believer, if you can teach them, they can learn. And it takes that commitment and that dedication. And I want to thank the teachers for not feeling so beaten down, and for not throwing in the towel, for believing not only in your students, but for believing in yourselves, that you could achieve, that you could make it happen. And today signifies that through your hard work, determination, the teachers at Kashmir have made a difference, and this is a big deal. Thank you to the teachers of Kashmir. Thank you for what you have done. And then lastly, let me thank the students. One of the major reasons why I wanted to be here as the mayor of this city, especially when we are getting ready to start a new school year, is to let every student know in HISD and in all of our schools that this city believes in every single one of them. We believe in them. And when we work together on behalf of our students, they can achieve and they can excel. And so to the students in the city of Houston, I don't care where you live, Whether you live in 3rd Ward, the Trey, 5th Ward, the Nickel, Acres Home, the Fofo, Denver Harbor, East End, Hiram Clark, South Park, Fort Bend, it matters not. If you live in this city, whether you are documented, undocumented, regardless of your language, your religion, it doesn't matter whether you're short or tall, in our city, if we do our job, these students can excel. And one of these days, they can go from being a student in a classroom to being the mayor of the 4th largest city in the United States of America. I just believe that. Lastly, today we celebrate our victories. And let me tell you, for someone who's been in the public sector for many years, you have to learn to celebrate your victories. Today we celebrate our, doesn't mean the work is complete. It doesn't mean it's done. It doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of work to do as we move forward. But today, let's pause and celebrate our victories. Let's pause and recognize what Reginald Bush and the teachers and the students and the community and everyone banding together have done. And then let's understand that when we work together, we can achieve some incredible things. I close with something I learned from a pastor. When a job is once begun, do not stop until it's done. For be it great or be it small, let's just do it well or not at all. Congratulations and well done. I look forward to working with you to move our city forward. Now I have the distinct pleasure, the Mayor of the City of Houston, in bringing up an outstanding principal, educator, leader, motivator, inspirator, none other than the principal of Kashmere, Reginald Bush.
Yeah, don't hide. Come on, don't hide. Yeah.
Let me say, give an honor to God. I haven't heard him mentioned yet, but I'm going to give him an honor for the work we do and keeping all of us healthy first. To all the distinguished guests we have here this morning, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Mayor Turner, thank you in your exit. All of our trustees, Trustee Skiller Jones, Trustee Jones, Trustee Adams, we want to say thank you all for being here and showing your support today. My heart is heavy, but today I'm not going to cry. I'm going to celebrate. And I'm going to pay a tribute to the business that we're in. And that's the young ladies and gentlemen that we see standing on the wall today. I want everybody to give our students a big round of applause. I think anybody who knows me, the only fight I'm going to get into on any campus with anyone is going to always involve something over a student. Everything else, we can put our personal feelings behind us and make the commitment to work with our young boys and girls each and every day. I want to talk about our students for a minute. We have to add the human element back to Kashmere High School. This is not a testing facility. This is not where we prepare kids to go and meet some low expectations that the state may have. But this is a facility where we prepare young people for life. And we prepare them to go out and go into a profession that they choose. If they don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a CPA, they do not have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a CPA. If they want to be a barber or a cosmetologist, and Mr. Bush say this to you today, young people, be the best cosmetologist and be the best barber that God put you on this earth to be. There are some articles sitting out there in your seats as you walked in. Unfortunately, no article talked about the great things that students do at Cashmere High School. And I have a problem not having an ELA background, but when the whole story is not told, I can't conclude what's going on in this story. So when I got to Cashmere High School, I talked with students. I asked questions. I did surveys. I couldn't find the kids who the article said couldn't read. I haven't identified those students yet. So again, that means that the curriculum and the way that we were delivering the curriculum is not the way that they wanted it. So we decided to do something better. We decided to get feedback from our students and make sure they can be involved in the planning process for their own success. Now I want to turn to my teachers and my staff. And I'm the first time I ever called you my. And I waited till this day to say my. It doesn't matter which principal hired you. It doesn't matter who signed off on your name. Because when you all signed the contract, you all said that you came to work with students. So if I was a true leader, I came in to work with people, to work with students. And I want to say personally to each and every one of you all today that Mr. Bush loves you and you can't do nothing about it. So I want to share a few stories with the crowd, teachers, if I may. These are the same group of teachers who had to look at the same articles when they talked about closing schools. That meant that they may have to be looking for a job during their PLC time instead of planning for our students. But they never did that. They showed up in math PLC, they showed up in social studies, they came to work every day, and every time they wrote, the teachers worked harder. And I want to say, if you think that you can do the job that these teachers do, I have 300 commitment forms in the front of this building, and we more than welcome each one of you all to come and try. If you can make it for one day, unlike some substitute can, we will pay you over and beyond what they're paying teachers in our district today, because they are the one, and you're right, Dr. Latham, they're the engine. You keep it turning. And I want to share with them today, media, we didn't lose that many teachers this year. Our teachers returned, and those of the ones who left, they left for various reasons such as promotions and to get closer to home. But nothing is 100 but our efforts that we make every day. I want to talk to my parents for a minute. Miss Ramirez, if you here, stand up. I think you over to the side. Mama D, stand up. That's what we refer to you as. Miss Charlene, stand up. I want to thank you all. In a district where they have school of choice, you chose Cashmere High School to continue to educate your child, although we were on the closure list to keep your boys and girls here in this school. Well, parents, let me tell you a little secret. You made the right choice, baby. Right. There were a lot of people started here years ago. Miss Durant, I can keep going with the number of names that are here. My hats are off to you all who retired and came back. Miss Rogers, we see all of you, all the hard work. You've been here through the term. And you were here when things did not look good. I want to thank you all for welcoming a little boy like me. Welcome me to your PLC, Mr. Barola, Miss Linda Say, and growing me up. And Miss stay the course and do the right things by kids. So I want to make sure we know this. Mr. Bush was faced with many obstacles this year. Compliance versus doing what's best for kids. And this is where Mr. Bush had his biggest falling out with most people. The Haberman profile going through the Human Resource Department say they want to know what you would do in each situation. Well, let me tell you, Mr. Bush always stick to the Haberman profile. So for everybody who want to put me on a PPA and write me up, I'm going to do the right thing by kids, and I'll let them deal with you at the end. When you write me up, I take my PPA to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to end today by saying the words of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela say, "It always seemed impossible until it's done." Hashtag Kashmere High School 2019 done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So we have a rule at Hattie Mae White. I know y'all call it the Taj Mahal, but the real Taj Mahal is here at Kashmere High School. So I'm gonna ask the cabinet members that are here, if either one of these two call, what are you supposed to do? Pick up, right?
Yeah.
Pick up and honor their request. Now I'm gonna give y'all 24 hours off from these two. Y'all can't call my number or anybody over here because we're not paying for anything, we're not buying. You are hashtag out. For 24 hours, you get nothing. Mosley, lose my number. Matter of fact, I do supervise the police department. Can somebody give me one of them restraining orders? But we want to thank you. Same thing goes for Wheatley and our schools that are identified as still needing support. I want to make sure everyone in this community is clear. They're out, but we still have a lot of work to do. They will continue to be Achieve 180 campus. They will continue to receive the supports, just like Washington, North Forest, all of our other schools. I want to make sure people know we don't drop them. In fact, is Miss Guillory here from Yates? I don't see. Stand up, Miss Guillory. Carolyn Evans, put your hand down. Put your hand down. I said Miss Guillory, the principal, not the alumni queen. So I want to make sure the community understands what we mean. Yates High School has been out of IR now 3 consecutive years, or did we hit number 4? I've got to make sure. 3 consecutive years. They are still Achieve 180. They will continue to receive the supports that they need. And on top of that, I have to throw this out there for the 3rd Ward community. Alicia Lewis from Blackshear, I thought I saw you. Yates also earned distinctions this year. Yates High School. Somebody let Roland Martin tweet that out for us, all right? Okay, thank you, Mr. Bush. Thank you, Ms. Mosley. So next we will move forward with our trustees, first starting with Trustee Skillen Jones, followed by Trustee Wanda Adams, who is a proud alumni, followed by Trustee Jolanda Jones, followed by Trustee Ann Sung, if you all will have any comments. Then we will move to our Mr. Chris Ray, our alumni president, also Mr. Ken Williams, class of 1969, and also the Kashmere Community Council president.
Thank you, Dr. Lathan. Can we give our superintendent a hand? So I'm going to tell you a story. When I first came to the district, I had a list of 10 things that I wanted to get accomplished. Not in any specific order, but getting Kashmere out of the status it was in. It wasn't IR at the time, but getting Kashmere out of an unacceptable status was on the list. That makes number 9, so I don't care if number 10 gets done or not. We are out of IR. I would like all our state reps to stand. All of our state reps. I just want to say to you, when you go back next session, you no longer have to defend Kashmere as the whipping boy for underachievement. When I came to District 2, it was the lowest achieving district of the 9 that we have. I stand here before you today to say it has the most achievement in the district of all the schools. So everyone who works in a District 2 school, please stand up and let's give them applause. Any District 2 school. The reason I was so adamant that this school needed to come out of IR was because I have a husband who graduated from here, a mother who graduated from here, all my uncles and aunts, and I live in Cashmere Gardens. So it was not going to close on my watch over my dead body. And we fought to make sure that didn't happen. So can I have all the alumni who have come through Cashmere please stand up? So we had to have a plan. My first conversation was with my mentor, Carol Galloway. I have to always give homage to her because she's one of the reasons that I'm able to do what I do. And she said to me two things. Baby, you can't address education with our students until you address what they bring to school with them. And the second thing she said was, and you can't do it all at once. Sometimes you have to do one school at a time. And so I set out with that in mind. And she said, you're not dealing with paper, you're dealing with people. So Joseph, I want to say to you as a District 2 principal, TEA may be dealing with paper. We know you are over there dealing with people, our little people. Loving them, helping them, and doing no harm. And we support you. My next conversation was with Adib Bakawi. Is he here? Adib, stand up. He was teaching here. And he moved his chemistry class to the top achieving chemistry class in the district. So I went to him and I said, how did you do that? And he said, we have to address their needs, trustee. He said, this is what we do. He said, I stay here on Saturdays. I give them a safe space. I give them resources. I bring in. So we started the conversation about how to best do that. Went to the district, talked to Mike Lunsford. He said, I support you, Rhonda. He came over and saw this school. He toured the area, and he said, what do we need to do? And I said, we need to figure out how to address these babies' needs. And working with Adib, we did that. Can I have all the people who worked on that community council, Huey, Keith, Ken, anybody who was on that community council, please stand, because you helped to do that. And then we went to Terry Greer and said we needed some resources. He put in a little money, as much as the board would allow him to do. But then I had some people come on board. Wanda Adams, Jolanda Jones, board members who wanted to fight for that. Stand up. And Ann Sung wasn't there at the time, but when she arrived, she was on board as well, with making sure that this was not just a place where we were going to throw pennies at, but a place where we were going to make a priority, and that's what happened. The interim superintendent then came on. Stand up. All her faculty and staff from administration. Once we made it a priority, she made it happen. See, there's an execution piece that had to happen, and she made sure that that did. And then those wheels began to turn, and we saw results. Nancy Blackwell was here and got the ball rolling. Faculty and staff, y'all remember Ms. Blackwell? Well, just like a track meet, right, Jolanda? She was the scratch leg. She ran that first leg and handed the baton off to our superstar anchor, Reggie Bush, who brought it to the finish line. But I knew when they named Reggie Bush principal here that it was gonna happen, because Sam Cooke said a change gonna come. Well, we knew because he had already changed Cashmere Gardens before. And with him and God, we all know if God does it once, he'll what? Do it again. Two people though, I want to acknowledge, Jesse Woods and Albert Lemons. because Jesse Woods trained up Mr. Bush in the way that he should go over at Burris Elementary, which is also a District 2 school. And Albert Lemons supported him. As you can see, the adage, it takes a village, it truly does. The only way to combat the ills of our social society is that our villages help to raise and educate these young people that you see over here who have brains that work like anybody else's and can achieve what anybody else can do and can do whatever God has ordained in your life to do. And don't let anybody ever tell you that you cannot. You are enough and you are amazing, and we are here for you to watch you grow and turn into anything on this earth that you want to be. I'm going to close with this. Cashmere out 2019, because if you're not in the work, you're Cashmere High School went from an F to a C, skipped right over D, because if you're not in the work, you're Cashmere High School earned 2 distinctions, because if you're not in the work, you're And I want to say to the press and the media who's always around to report the bad, run tell that.
First of all, I am so grateful and so honored to stand here before you as, not as a board trustee, but as a proud alumnus of Cashmere High School. I was holding back the tears because when I walked in, I remember the very first day when I came to school, Ms. Trimble was the principal. Ms. Trimble was the principal, and Mr. Smith was the assistant principal. And I remember coming to school and not knowing what to expect in high school. Coming from Lamar Fleming Middle School, born and raised in 5th Ward, and everybody has the story of poverty and having to struggle and come to school without. But I never forget when the basketball coach looked at me and said, "You're gonna play basketball and you're gonna do great things on the court." Never would have thought that playing basketball right here at Cashmere High School would allow me to be among who's and high school athletes and receive a scholarship, full scholarship to Texas Southern University. I stayed home because I really couldn't afford to go abroad, but I felt safe to stay in a community that I can call home at Texas Southern. But one of the things that I want to say, if I don't leave any message today, is that God can, God will, because he said he will. People always know what my faith is, and I never deny my faith, no matter where I am or where I stand, because everybody's gonna know that I'm a believer in Jesus, and I love the Lord who carries me. Kalia stood at the same podium at Worthing High School on last year, and she's here, Dr. Campbell. And we understand supporting one another as principals as we guide each other and support each other along the way. I am just so proud of this school, and I want to take a moment to ask this young lady to stand up. We cannot forget strong shoulders in the quiet places when we know people may cry. So I'm going to ask the wife of Mr. Bush to stand up, Miss Candy Eastman. Because that's the only candy Reggie Bush wants to, I'm going to finish the other part. But thank you, Candy, for being a supportive wife, being the shoulder that he needed. I'm sure there were many nights when he probably came home and didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring. There's a cliche that says happy wife, happy life. But I know the cliche that says when you have a strong wife, everything else will fall into place of the leader, that's of the head. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank Dr. Lathan, not only as superintendent, but I want to thank Dr. Lathan for accepting a call with Dr. Greer to come down to HISD to lead the academic department. And one of the things that she said, it may look bad now, but it's gonna look great later. Only thing she keeps saying, and I said every time that I have a press conference or talking, she always says, just get out of my way, we got this, we're gonna handle it, and trust me. So we got out of her way, she handled it, we trusted her, and look where the results has ended up. Sometimes, Mr. Bush, we got to get out the way. And I ain't gonna say that part, Rhonda. We have to get out the way. So as we continue to strive to be the best district that we can, we have to always remember to keep God in the forefront. Don't want to disrespect anyone's belief, but as long as we keep God in the forefront and we do the right thing, you will always have good results. You have to have respect for one another. No matter what your opinion may be, you have to respect the leader that's in the position, regardless, because then you would have the results that you see. Children, students, leaders, remember, you are the head and not the tail. Being a Kashmere student, you are above and not beneath. Because you're going to be graduates of Kashmere, you're going to be lenders and not borrowers. You're going to wait for those great things. Because someone would always tell me as a student that I would not amount to anything because where I came from. But now you can look on every headline, and I'm proud of what God has allowed me to be, because I'm proud to be a graduate of Kashmere High School. I have been successful because of Kashmere High School. Continue to thrive and be the best that you can be because of Kashmere High School. And to the parents, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And finally, where are my District 9 principals? They're here. Would you stand up? Ms. Gerlach and Sean, we're all trustees of the whole entire district, so we support one another. But when you are a specific trustee over a certain community, you want to take pride in the stride that they have made. Mr. Giddings, Woodson, when I looked on the scores last night when you were an F and I can see that you were a B, praise God for you. Dr. Campbell, I remember when Worthing was an F, when I looked last night and you had a high C, thank God for you. Westbury High School, we're gonna say C+++, because you was a point away from the B. So thank God for you. And all of my other principals, thank God for you for what you continue to do to make these schools strive. In District 9, we don't have any F-rated schools. Thank you, Dr. Lathan. I have one request from you guys before I take my seat. Stand up. Stand up for me, quickly, quickly, quickly. One request. Do y'all know this Happy Birthday song by Stevie Wonder? The greatest gift that God could have gave 8:15 on today, we handed it in her hand. Dr. Grenita Lathan, let's sing happy birthday to her. Y'all ready? Let's go. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Good morning, Kashmere. Cashmere and supporters. I'm actually sort of sad I didn't go to Cashmere because I want to be like an honorary Cashmere person. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm my Aunt Crystal, who graduated from here in 1976 and who was in the band. So can I have that? So this was personal to me. So y'all know me, I say what everybody else is thinking. But they scared to say. So the first thing I'm gonna say is Dr. Grenita Layton should be the permanent superintendent in HISD. So I don't normally take notes. But I want to make sure I say exactly what I came here to say. I got these glasses on. I know it doesn't make me look as young as I try to look, but I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. I want to thank the parents for trusting us to educate your kids and leaving them here and not taking them somewhere else. I thank you. I want to thank the students for coming to school here. You guys have a great history. You have a great tradition. And I'm going to apologize to you right here, right now, from behavior on the board where certain people did not understand the historical significance of Cashmere to the great city of Houston. I want to thank Superintendent Layton and her team, who accomplished these tremendous things despite the chaos on the board. Let me tell you something. We, for the surrounding school districts here, since everybody want to talk about stuff, we did better than Dallas. They supposed to be the shining light of the state of Texas. We did better than Dallas. We did better than almost every single solitary school district in this area, despite the nonsense of the board. Trust and believe. If I didn't have full faith, belief, and credit, hopes and prayers in Dr. Layton, I know now, because I know amongst chaos, she can focus and get the work done and jump over us who are in your way. I want to thank Trustee Skiller-Jones and I want to thank Trustee Adams, because we didn't always get along. But when we saw the attacks on our kids and their needs, we put aside our differences and we formed a coalition in April of last year, because if they mess with y'all, then they mess with me. If they mess with me, then they mess with y'all. So we knew to put aside our differences for the betterment of the kids, because grown-ups need to get out of the way. Truth matters. It's like an addiction. You cannot fix your addiction unless you honestly evaluate the truth. Administrators, I appreciate you. I respect you. We disrespected you. I'm apologizing for the board. There's no mechanism to just remove whoever's doing wrong and getting in the way. It's either all of us or none of us. So on behalf of the board, whether they give me permission or not, I'm apologizing to y'all for getting in y'all's way, because you can say what you want. It takes a village, it takes a team to get everything done. And Dr. Layton's team were working day in and day out to get us out of IR. And they work overtime, don't even get paid for overtime, because not only did they have to do their jobs, but they had to do nonsense that the board threw in front of them. Students, if you read the media, you'll see all the nonsense that some grown folks were doing. So don't be one of them grown-ups, right? Stay focused. Get out the way, right? But just know from Dr. Layton and her team showed you that you can have tremendous obstacles and odds, and you can overcome anyway, as long as you stay the course and you stay focused. I want to thank our state elected officials, who when we called them, they came. Harold Dutton, Jarvis Johnson, Alma Allen, Symphonia Thompson, Mayor Turner too, and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, when people were lying on us and saying we weren't doing stuff, and we were, and I was hopeful and I was prayerful. I was hopeful and I was prayerful that what was done in the dark would come to the light. And there is not a doubt in my mind that when we, the board of HISD, get out of her way, and her team's way and the teachers' way, that HISD will be the #1 urban school district in these United States of America. So I didn't leave, oh, Boris Miles, did I say Senator Miles? So, and oh yeah, and Commissioner Ellis, but I just want to tell you something. This was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And you cannot, y'all don't know, people who don't have murder and incarceration and addiction, y'all think y'all experts on us. You're not. Dr. Layton and her team, she is. And if TEA, and I'm gonna tell you something, I have been hoping and praying that TEA, and I never thought I would ever say that I believed an elected board needed to be replaced. But the alternative is worse. Imagine if Dr. Layton had had the freedom to do what she knows to do, we wouldn't have any schools in IR. I'm not a betting person, but I'm willing to bet you money, a penny, that when we get out of her way, we're not gonna have any struggling schools, because she is an expert at what she does. And even though I know I'm bossy, and when I first got on the board, I thought I knew stuff, right? And I remember going to Dr. Layton, she was taking some of my principles and stuff, and I was upset, and finally got a principal that Yates liked, and the alumni liked, and then she moving him. And she told me, Trustee Jones, stay in your lane. So don't think she's a pushover, because she's not. She said, Trustee Jones, stay in your lane. Please let me do what I'm an expert at doing. And so I stand here before you bowing down to Superintendent Layton, because she earned my respect. All she has to do is tell me where to go, and I'm gonna follow. Because I don't think there's a greater administrator in these United States of America than Dr. Grenita Layton. Happy birthday. I forgot Principal Bush, and he's also the best dressed in this building too.
Congratulations, Kashmir. Congratulations, Houston ISD. I especially want to greet the teachers here in the room today who have worked so hard, day in, day out with their students, after school, weekends. It's paid off. Before I got onto this board, I was where you all were. I was a teacher at a school that was under threat, that was rated IR by the state, which I think means investment required, and was in the same position of working those long hours to show that our students, our communities, it was in the Gulfton area, had value, and that the solution was investment and not closure. And before I got onto this board, I did have the opportunity to sit down with Rhonda Skillern-Jones and to learn about Kashmir, and to learn that the story that was happening in Southwest Houston was the same story happening here in Kashmir, the same story happening in Wheatley, the same story happening across this district. And I had the opportunity to meet with leaders like Mr. Barkawi and with Mr. Dutton soon after joining this board, and to learn about the incredible work happening in Kashmir. And before this, right, before today, right, we're all here celebrating, but even before today, I knew that here in Kashmir, we had a model that should be replicated, because good things didn't start happening in Kashmir this year. As our superintendent said, the good work started happening here back in 2015 and before. I know there's teachers who have been here before that as well. And the hard work of the community, our community council coming together. Now Kashmir Gardens is a complete community thanks to our mayor, right? This is a model for what we can do for urban schools here in Houston, here in Texas, here across the country. So congratulations, Kashmir. This is the fruit of many years of hard work that I know is going to continue. This board stands behind you. It's been an honor to serve with my colleagues on the board and to take those votes to make sure that Kashmir and other schools get the investment that is needed to make sure our teachers get the support that is needed, the wraparound support that our students need, that those are there, because we need to make sure that our students are able to come to school every day ready to learn, to make sure that our teachers are there every day to give students the instruction that they need. Mr. Bush, our students' achievements here at Kashmir are your achievements. So congratulations, this is your success. Dr. Lathan, your achievements are our students' achievements. Our students' achievements are your achievements. So this day, when Houston ISD earns an 88, higher than Dallas, higher than Fort Worth, higher than San Antonio, this is the city that people should be coming to. Houston is the city that people from across the state should be coming to find the solution. So congratulations, Dr. Lathan. Today is your day. Thank you all. Thank you, Kashmir. Thank you, Houston.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Ray, Alumni Association, Kashmir Alumni Association President. Before I thank Mr. Bush and his staff on their achievement, I want to take us back a couple years. The 2005 Kashmir, Jack Yates, and Sam Houston was on the closure list by that superintendent, Abe Cerveja, to close down. So in 2005, we got together as a community, as alumni and parents, to voice our concerns with Abe Cerveja to not close our school down. Over the course of the last decade, we have principal after principal, administration after administration, trying to figure out how to get Kashmir back to a standard of education terms where we was labeled a dropout factory in 2005 as well. So throughout that course of the time, the alumni in this community, the community itself, the parents got together and we formed a coalition. And everyone came up under the umbrella of the Kashmir Alumni Association. So the presidents before me had a difficult task to keep going to the school district, voicing their concerns about the state of Kashmir Senior High School and in the community as well. So I'd like to thank Ken Williams, Huey Wilson, Orrin Smith, Tracy Scales, those presidents before me that had the task of doing battle with the district itself. So they deserve applause as well. So I also wear double duty. I'm also a parent of a senior here, and I had to convince her when she was leaving Key that she was going to Kashmir. Her statement was that she wanted to go to Jack Yates. I say, no, baby. Yeah. She wanted to wear crimson gold. And I had to remind her that none of your family went to Jack Yates. Why you want to go? In addition, we stay 3 minutes from Kashmir. How you gonna get to school? She shook her head and looked at me and she said, well, I guess I gotta go to Kashmir. Well, you don't have no choice. So as a parent, I knew she was going here from the time she got to the 6th grade. So there was no doubt in my mind where she was gonna graduate high school from. And I couldn't have made a better choice because the school allowed me as a parent, first of all, to come on the campus, check on her, get a phone call when she acting up. Whatever it was, they was right there with me. And that goes for Miss Potts, Miss Carol McNary, Miss Lottie, my childhood friend Thomas Frazier, Roger Boyd. They kept Coach Lester, Coach Dunham, they kept an eye on my daughter, so I knew I was making the right decision by sending her to Kashmir Senior High School. So without further ado, I would like to thank Principal Bush and his staff here at Kashmir Senior High School for finally turning that corner to get us off IR. It took a long time coming. But when he first stepped on campus the first day of school last year, and I saw him buzzing around and walking around, acting crazy and checking this and checking that, I say, man, they're gonna have to keep up with this dude because he might be the one. He might be the one. So, Mr. Bush, I'd like to thank you personally for the job that you're doing, Ms. Mosley and your staff. Come here, brother. Come here, brother. I'd like to thank you personally because also he is my daughter's brother's mentor as well. So you can't beat that. And I have personal access to Mr. Bush, so I'd like to thank you. Yes, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you. You can take a seat, we good. So one thing that stayed constant through our trials and tribulations with Cashmere Senior High School was the alumni. Without the alumni, trust and believe HISD would have shut us down a long time ago. We had people going to the school board meetings. We had people camping out here trying to talk to every incoming principal. We had meeting after meeting. All kind of things was going on just to stay, just to have a voice in our school. And this alumni, I'm telling you, we're nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. I know Wheatley and Yates and Booker T been around along a long time, longer than us, but I'm telling you, when you go up against Cashmere alumni, you better be ready. You better be ready. And the thing with Mr. Bush, Principal Bush, he embraced the history of Cashmere. He embraced the alumni from the very beginning I met him. So that goes without saying, we have the right man in place to do the job here. So ladies and gentlemen, we should not just celebrate today, we should celebrate tomorrow, we should celebrate this accomplishment, because this is just like winning that last state basketball championship we had here. This is in that realm, if not better. Because they're going to crown us state champion, but they're not going to crown us for not getting off our R. So we have to celebrate today. So Principal Bush, thank you. Ms. Mosley, thank you. Karen McNair, your time here, thank you. Ms. Potts, Roger Boyd, Mariah, I see you over there. Ms. Tamara, the choir director, everyone here on this staff, we thank you for the job that you're doing. I thank you all. Appreciate you.
Hello, Cashmere. Hello, Cashmere. I'm Harold Dutton, and I'm the chairman of the Legislative Black Caucus, and I'm pleased to be joined by the members of the caucus. Let me start by, on this end, this is Senvronia Thompson, who happens to be the longest-serving member, woman member of the legislature. She's the dean of the House, and we all go to her.